What is up, car addicts? You joined me for a very special video here. Next to me we have the 2018 Dodge Demon and the 2023 Demon 170. Two icons, two legends, absolute monsters at the drag strip for their time, record-breaking 840 horsepower on 100 octane fuel and 1,025 horsepower on E85. I mean, just ridiculous. The first ever mass-produced American production car to do 9.25 mile, ridiculous. And this car goes into the 8s. I mean, that is wild, right off the showroom floor. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So these two cars are not just two random demons we got together from two separate owners. These two cars belong to the same owner. So my friend George here, he's the owner of both of them. These cars are in fact a VIN match set. So what does that mean? When the Demon 170 was introduced, Dodge allowed current owners of the 18 Demon to VIN match the last four numbers of their VIN to their brand new Demon 170. So these cars right here, their number, this car is number 2246, so Demon number 2246, and this one right here, he has the same number, 2246. That is wild. I mean, that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and he's the first owner of both of them. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be doing a direct comparison / review of both these cars. Now, we're not going to be racing them or anything like that. These cars have very low miles. And I mean, this car would just destroy it anyways. What's the point? So let's get right into it. Starting off with the front splitter here. So you can see this car has a full length front splitter. It goes all the way around. He does have the splitter guard on it. He has these cars, you know, put away at very low miles. So the full length front splitter, and that's part of the wide body package. Now, moving on to the Demon 170, Dodge decided to ditch the front wide body on this car for weight saving, so it only has it on the back. And then you can see the front splitter is different because they utilize the same front splitter from the standard narrow body Hellcat. So you can see it has some different curvature to it, a bit different there. Coming back over here to the Demon, the 18 Demon. Right here in the headlight, you're actually gonna see that it has a Demon logo in there. Kind of tough to see. I'll probably throw some B-roll in there if you can't see it too well there. Then of course we have the SRT badge. Now moving over to the 2023 Demon 170, for some reason Dodge didn't do that. I'm not sure why. So instead in the headlight it says direct connection. Kind of tough to see there. Again, I'll put some B-roll if you guys can't see it there, and of course the SRT badge. Now moving on to the hood vent up here, you can see it says alcohol injected. That is just insane. I love that. Only Dodge would put that on a car. No other manufacturer would do that. And that's of course a reference to the E85 that this car optionally runs on. Now moving on here to the 18 Demon, you can see the hood scoop is just plain. It doesn't say anything, unfortunately, but you know they kind of utilize that for the Demon 170 over there. Now the Demon 170 does have the black graphics package. It has it on the hood, on the roof, and on the trunk as well. Now, unfortunately, this one doesn't have the graphics package, but honestly, I think George did it right. He has kind of the best of both worlds, you know, the clean, simple look with the full octane red, candy red color, and then he has the one with the black graphics. I think he did it right. Now, continuing again here to the wide body. So the 18 Demon has a wide body all the way around, and that's for the massive 315 width tires that go all the way around. It looks pretty insane. You can see it there. And then when you bought an 18 Demon, you can get what they call the Demon crate for only $1, and that included skinny front wheels at the front, and then you would put those on the car, put these away, and then you would take it to the drag strip. Obviously, there's a few other components in the crate as well, but that was one of the main things. And then you could take it to the drag strip, do your runs, and then swap the wheels afterwards. Now, for the Demon 170, Dodge decided to pretty much give you the car drag strip ready right off the showroom floor, where the fronts are actually already skinnies. So you have 245s up front with, and then you have the three massive 315s in the back. Now, these are the Mickey Thompson drag radials, whereas on the 18 Demon, it gives you the Nitto street drag tires. The Mickey Thompsons obviously are a lot better grip-wise. And then moving on here to the wheels. So in terms of brakes, we have 4-piston Brembo brakes. Now, unfortunately, the 6-piston brakes from the Hellcats didn't fit on the Demons because you have an 18-inch wheel. with this size wheel, you put a 6-piston caliper, it will not clear the wheel. So unfortunately, they had to use the 4-piston brakes, which is pretty much the same thing you get like on a Scat Pack. So not that ideal for a 1,000 horsepower car, but it's a drag car. It makes sense. Plus you have the optional parachute you can get from direct connection. So that will definitely slow you down if these brakes don't slow you down enough. Onto the 18 Demon here, pretty much the same braking system. You have the 4-piston Brembo. In this car, it's red though. Then of course you have an 18-inch wheel as well. Now, this car is more of a red theme, the 18 Demon. You have the red calipers, and then you have the red engine block as well, which I'll show when we get to the engine base section. On the 23 Demon, the Demon 170, what they did is a yellow theme. So you have the yellow SRT, and then you have the yellow eye in the Demon 170 logo. That's a reference, of course, to the E85. And then, of course, on the 18 Demon here, you can see it's just a standard Demon logo, nothing in the eye there, just plain. But it still looks cool. I mean, what car has a devil on the side of it? Only Dodge would do something that crazy. Anyways, all right, so to mention here on the 18 Demon, little Easter eggs here. So on the windshield, you have a Demon silhouette doing a burnout, as you can see. It even has a little wide body there. That is just amazing. Absolutely love that. Continuing over here to the Demon 170, for some reason, Dodge didn't do that. So they gave you the same silhouette that you get on a standard Challenger. Every single Challenger model has the same one. So I'm not sure why they didn't just reuse the one from the other one. I mean, they reused little vents and stuff like we saw in the engine bay. So I'm not sure why they didn't utilize that here for the windshield, but I guess some cost cutting there. Continuing here to the back, there's not much to look at here. These cars are the same all the way down here on the sides. And then of course we have the matching wide body out back. Now onto the back wheels here. So the 18 Demon, you get the same exact wheel and tire setup as the front. So you can literally swap them. 315 up front, 315 out back with an 18-inch wheel. Now, on the Demon 170, this is ridiculous. You have a 17-inch wheel, so it's smaller on the front wheel, and then you have a massive 315 drag radio under the Mickey Thompson. I mean, the pure drag car look. You can also see it has sort of like a concave effect to it as well. I mean, it just looks absolutely incredible, and just for the levels of grip this car develops, it definitely needs it with the power it has, and it looks plain awesome as well. It looks like an old school drag racer. Absolutely love it. Continuing here to the 18 Demon rear spoiler. So here you have a spoiler with a little dip in the center, little rear view mirror, rear view camera there. And you, of course, you have the SRT badge. Now onto the Demon 170, you have the spoiler that was introduced in 2019 as an option, the SRT spoiler. So there's no badge because it doesn't fit, unfortunately, because it kind of curves downward. But I do love this spoiler. It gives it sort of like a drag car look. I mean, it looks really, really good. Moving back over here to the 18 Demon, you can see the Dodge lettering right here is in chrome. Now, they didn't offer it in black until, I believe it was 2020, when that was an option. So the Demon 170 here does have the Dodge letters blacked out. That looks a lot better, honestly. That's fantastic. Down below over here on the 18 Demon, we of course have the exhaust. So here you have the black chrome tips. That's a feature that you get on the Hellcat. Only the Hellcats, red eyes, super stock Demons have the black chrome tips. And then moving on here to the Demon 170, you have the same thing, the black chrome tips. Although these, I guess they aligned a little weird from the factory. They're sticking out a little bit more, but yeah, looks fantastic. Now, let's go ahead and move engine bays of both these cars. Let's do it. All right, under the hood of the 18 Demon here, you have a 6.2 liter V8 with a supercharger right on top. This is a 2.65 liter blower, technically 2.7 if you round it off, as most people refer it to. And then of course you have the Demon on top there, kind of, you know, going out of the supercharger. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You got supercharged Hemi, and then of course you have the intake with the Demon logo on the side of the intake there. Looks fantastic. Everything else for the most part here is very similar to the Demon 170. However, the engine block right here, as you can see, and the valve covers are red on the 18 Demon. Moving along here to the Demon 170, you have 6.2 liter V8, very similar architecture, but obviously the internals are a lot more built up to handle the extra boost, the extra pressure and everything. Of course, the E85 puts a lot more stress on the engine. But on top, you have a 3-liter supercharger on top of the 6.2 V8. That is just absolutely wild. And then the Demon logo on this one, instead of it being flat, they kind of angled it a little bit, which kind of looks a bit better. It's kind of angled towards you instead of just flat on the supercharger. And then, of course, the engine block of this one, it's really tough to see, but if you look right in there, you'll see the yellow. So it's a yellow engine block. So again, to go with the whole E85 yellow theme. Back over here to the 18 Demon, you have the air grabber sticker here. And then of course you have air grabber right here. And this is a direct intake system. So you have the air coming in from the hood here, feeds right through into here, and then right into the intake directly. Just an awesome system. The later Hellcats from, I think it was 2019 forward, also feature this, but obviously without the Demon logos and such. And then over here to the Demon 170, I'm surprised they didn't put the sticker. I'm not sure why. Maybe cost cutting, I don't know. But they do still have the same scoop with the Demon air grabber there. And then on the side of the intake here, they unfortunately didn't use the Demon logo intake. I'm not sure why. So I believe this is the same intake from a Red Eye. You know, Dodge is strange sometimes, but yeah. And then of course here you have the last call badge, which every single 2023 Challenger and Charger gets, of course, symbolizing, you know, the last of the V8 Challengers and Chargers. If that's going to be like that forever, we're not sure, but we'll see. We do know one thing though, the Charger, I guess, has replaced the Challenger name. That remains to be seen if they're going to bring back the Challenger name. But for now, they offer the brand new Charger, both in 2-door and 4-door. So I'm pretty sure the Challenger name is going to be retired, maybe brought back another day, at some point, but not right now. Also to mention here on the 18 Demon, both of them have it, but it's still worth mentioning. I wanted to throw it in here in the video. Both these cars have what they call the SRT power chiller. So it utilizes the refrigerant from the AC system of the car, and it redirects it to cool down your supercharger. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. That's to cool down at the track, and you could also use it while you're racing the car as well. Now, 23 Demon 170 also has the same system here, as you can see. And on this car, it's definitely needed because this car, obviously, it runs a lot hotter than the 18 Demon does. Now, let's mention here, now that we're in the engine bay, some of the power differences. So, the 18 Demon, it comes from the factory with 808 horsepower on pump 93. Now, you get all the components from the crate. You have an ECU in there. You have an intake. You have, obviously, the skinny front wheels. All that stuff. You put it on the car, and then it allows you to put 100 octane fuel in this car, which bumps you from 808 to 840 horsepower. Quite wild. But obviously, technically, it doesn't come from the showroom like that, from the factory, because you have to get those components from the crate. Now, the crate is given to you for only $1 for the Demon owners, but it is worth technically mentioning that you can't just buy the car off the showroom and drive straight to the gas station and put 100 octane fuel in it. You have to utilize the components from the crate. Now, the Demon 170, again, with that whole race-ready mentality with the skinny fronts already on it, this car, pump 93, gives you 900 horsepower even. And then once you put the E85 in it, full E85, it gets you to that 1,025 horsepower. And it does that from the factory, right off the showroom floor. I mean, that is just wild. Very, very impressive. Now, the car, depending on the mixture of E85 and pump 93 you have in it, it automatically adjusts the tune of the car while you're driving. So the more E85 you have in it, the more power it shows you on the screen there, bumping up as you drive it. So once you put the full 85 in it, you start driving it, it starts going like 900, 920, 930 as you're driving. This is just so cool. You can see the tune being adjusted live. I mean, that's just wild. Now, let's go ahead and move into the interior of these two beasts. All right, inside the 18 Demon here, awesome, awesome interior. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Oh yeah, the SRT there. Of course, you get the Demon loading up there on the gauge cluster. This car features white face gauges, just absolutely gorgeous. You can see there with a 200 mile/hour speedometer. You have the suede Alcantara SRT steering wheel. Then you have suede on the door panels here. Just a really nice place to be. In here you have like a silver trim, as you can see. And when we move on to the Demon 170, you're gonna see the difference here. Moving on here to these button right here, you have the SRT button. So you push that, and this loads up, of course, all your different custom settings. So of course you can see they're 808 horsepower because this car is running on pump 93 currently. And then in here you can have all the modes you can adjust if you go into a custom setup. So you can see the power is right now locked. You can see there's a little Demon logo there to go to the 840 because obviously this car doesn't have the crate components or the 100 octane fuel in it currently. You have all the transmission settings: street, sport, drag, paddle shifters on and off, traction, drag, or street. Definitely keep that in street when you're messing around on the street because these tires don't hook that well as the 170 does. Suspension, which makes it softer or tighter for the weight transfer. Drag mode is the softest for weight transfer to the rear. And then of course steering, which makes it tighter or softer to be more precise at the drag strip. And those are the main little features there. There's other stuff you can go into here. I'm not going to go into crazy detail on that. But continuing here to the seats. So you have the beautiful Laguna leather seats with the Demon logo right there with the Alcantara inserts. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's not bad considering what this car starts off as. And then of course you have your back seats there. So these cars, they did offer options to have rear seat delete, cloth interior, stuff like that. But this car is optioned with all the premium sort of like luxury features that you'd kind of want if you're not going to be, you know, taking it to the drag strip and racing it. But you can in fact remove those seats yourself. It's not that difficult back there. Continuing here too, the number right here. So you have the Demon logo on the passenger vent, and then you have the last four of the VIN on this car. So it's Demon number, like I said earlier, 2246. So that's pretty much everything there on the 18 Demon. Now let's move on to the Demon 170. All right, inside the Demon 170 here, you can see there's quite a few little changes in here that make it feel a bit more special than the 18 Demon, but the 18 Demon still feels a little more special in some other little ways, which I'll talk about here shortly. So let's go ahead and fire it up here. Oh, this one starts up a lot more aggressively. You got the Demon logo like you saw there with the yellow eye. Now, firstly here, the gauge cluster. So the 18 Demon has it in the white. So you have the white face gauges, which I love, with the 200 mile/per-hour speedometer. Now on the Demon 170, you get the same gauge cluster you get from the red eye with the 220 speedometer there. However, it is red. So I guess Dodge did a little bit of cost cutting there, so they didn't have to develop a whole new 220 speedometer in white. I guess it just is what it is, but it doesn't look too bad. Would have been cool if they would have done maybe like yellow or something. That would have been crazy, like a pale yellow or something like that. That would have looked insane. But we do have the carbon fiber trim here, which is standard on the Demon 170. And then you, of course, you have the same suede steering wheel. You have carbon fiber here. I mean, it looks really, really good. And then something they did when they introduced 2020, the Hellcats and the Scat Packs that had the leather interior, they introduced kind of like a vinyl on the dash with stitching all the way around, which the 18 Demon didn't have because that wasn't introduced yet. As you can see, this looks a lot more premium. You also have it on the tops of the door panels here, and memory seats, which were introduced in, I believe, 2021, I think. So memory seats as well, which the 18 Demon does not have. And then really nice here, you have full Alcantara suede headliner, which the 18 Demon has the cloth. So this car has that, whereas the 18 Demon has the cloth. Just looks really good, even on the sun visors here as well. Awesome. Continuing down here, we'll push the same SRT button so we can kind of compare the modes here. So we'll go to custom, and here you can see it says 900 because we're on pump 93 currently. Now it does say ethanol detected. I don't know why it leaves out of that menu so quickly. So it does say ethanol detected, and let's go into here, custom setup. But it's not showing more power because technically almost every fuel currently in gas stations has like 10% ethanol in it roughly. So that's why it says it's detected, but you see it's still set 900 there. So here you have the transmission modes. You have the traction, suspension, and steering. I believe the other one had an extra setting here in transmission, the 18 Demon. This one only has 2, but very similar features there. Now going into the performance pages here, and of course you have all your little timers and all that stuff here, which the 18 Demon has kind of similar, but these are just updated a little bit to look a bit nicer. But for the most part, it's very similar stuff. Now there is special little tuning you can do in here based on your shifts and all that Tim Kaniskis talked about in Jay Leno's video, where you can adjust the power throughout your drag strip pool, and you can kind of like live tune it here. It's ridiculous. I'm not going to get into that, but I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. But there's a lot of stuff you can do in here, and this screen is very useful, obviously. Now, moving on to the seats here, you have pretty much the identical seats as the 18 Demon, but obviously you have a little 170 there on the Demon logo, but the same suede inserts and all that. And then onto the vent here, you can see it has the Demon with the yellow in it to signify the E85, and of course the last 4 VIN match there. You can see they have the same VIN. I mean, that's quite wild that he was able to do that. Then of course here you have the key. You have the Demon, the same one like we saw in the AC event, which is the yellow in there, signifying the E85 with the red M there. And then the 18 Demon key was just all red. So let's go ahead and shut her off here. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do a little bit of fun now. We're gonna do a cold start, well, technically warm start, but of the 18 Demon first, and then we'll do the Demon 170 after. These things are gonna sound absolutely fantastic. We're gonna move to the mic on the GoPro because this one, the mic just completely cuts out. So we're gonna use the one on the GoPro now. Not bad, pretty good. It sounds very similar to a Hellcat, a bit more spicy, but the Demon 170 is the one that sounds absolutely insane. So let's go ahead and do that one. Wow, this thing is a lot louder. Also, the rev limiter in park is higher as well. And you do get the pops as well, which sound insane on deceleration. Man, this thing is definitely louder. Wow, big difference. It's louder, it has the pops, higher rev limiter in park. This one definitely sounds better. Love it. All right, now what we're gonna do is the driving portion of this video. I'm very excited to drive these 2 cars. I have driven them before, like around the block. George let me kind of move them around and stuff, but I haven't like actually thoroughly driven them on the street, you know, and gotten on them and all that. So this is gonna be a first and a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and do it. We're gonna do the 18 Demon first, and we're gonna jump into Demon 170 after. All right, behind the wheel here of the 2018 Demon, the OG. Well, there was an older Demon from the 70s, but the modern Demon, the Demon that's most well known. This thing sounds insane. Take a left turn here. Now we are gonna get on it a little bit, but I'm not gonna go too crazy because obviously this car, you know, it's not mine and it's got low miles, so listen to that supercharger. Now I did own a Red Eye before this. I also daily a TRX, so I'm fairly familiar with this powertrain, very familiar. So I'm gonna be doing some comparisons of that too. Immediately I can hear the supercharger a lot more on this car compared to the like a Red Eye, for example. The supercharger is much more pronounced. Suspension is buttery smooth. It's like floats. Oh, that feels amazing. That's amazing. Let's see the weight transfer. Yep, it dips forward when you brake hard, and when you the whole front end goes like that when you give it gas. The Red Eye does not do it. It doesn't do it that much. That's insane. Brakes, yep, dips forward and then give it gas here. That was a speed I'm not gonna say on camera, but these things, man, they're just so fast. And how heavy they are, you know, over 4,000 pounds, man, they just move so good. Got some AC here going a little bit. We're gonna hop on the Mexican highway here, do a couple pulls. Oh buddy, I'm excited. All right, here we go. Oh boy. Spinning. Woo! Wow. Look at that. Got a Scat Pack wide body or a Hellcat next to us. Damn, this thing moves. Listen to that. Woo. It sounds so good, man. That supercharger is just pure bliss. Man. Scat Pack wide body there next to us. Oh my goodness. It definitely feels faster than a red eye. I don't want to say it's like dramatically different because obviously they have very similar power numbers stock for stock, but it definitely pulls. The supercharger whine is, I don't know how they did that. It's much more pronounced on this car compared to a standard red eye, which is, you know, a very similar engine to the 18 Demon. So the supercharger on this thing is much louder. Man, it just sounds so good. The brakes are not bad, let me tell you. I mean, at the end of the day, they're still Brembos, 4-piston, but wow. What a machine. What a monster. I'm afraid to drive the other one because this already feels fast. I'm actually terrified to drive the other one. Thankfully, these two right now, and I say thankfully, I mean, I kind of wish they were, but this one's sitting on the Pump 93, you know, standard, and then the Demon 170 is also sitting currently on the Pump 93. But even on Pump 93, that one still makes 900 horse. So it's an extra 100 horsepower compared to this car. So it's still going to be a huge difference regardless. I'm definitely excited to drive the other one, but very impressed. You know, honestly, I wouldn't mind owning an 18 Demon. I just wish it had the nicer interior from the newer 170. Maybe I think like a 23 red eye is a really good car for the money, or like a 22 red eye. I'd say like 2020 and up because they gave you the newer stitching on the dash and all that. But man, I'm impressed. This car definitely lives up to the hype. It is a ton of fun to drive. The sounds from the supercharger and the engine and everything, I'm impressed. All right, now let's move into the Demon 170. I am quite terrified, to be honest, but let's do it. All right, setting off in the Demon 170 here. Immediately the supercharger whine is substantially louder, much louder. And it shifts more aggressively too. This is in its normal street mode. My goodness. The throttle response too. It's just more refined Demon, it really is. Take our left turn here. Woo! Wow. That whine is so much louder on this car. I mean, it is a bigger supercharger, so it makes sense. Oh. And the pops. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is ridiculous. And I haven't even gotten in it yet. That hooks up so well. Man. Those Mickey Thompsons are putting in the work, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Pops! Oh, I love the pops. Oh, the 18 Demon doesn't do that. I mean, it does it, but very, very, very rarely. This one just does it all the time. Oh my goodness. Man, what a... It's just sounds so good. And this isn't even with the E85 in it. I can't imagine... I mean, it must be a huge difference. Once, I mean, I don't know if George is going to drive it much. Currently, it has a little less than 50 miles, but once George, hopefully he puts the E85 in it eventually, and I want to come back and drive it with that. That's, I mean, an extra 125 horsepower. Oh man, that's crazy. All right, I'm gonna hop on the Mexican highway here. Here we go. Sure, we're nice and straight here. Here we go. Wow. Feels pretty similar, just a lot more loud, and the supercharger is like a lot more dramatic. It does pull very similar though to the 18 Demon. I mean, once you're at this power level, it's really hard to notice the difference. But the difference is there, but it's not like super dramatic like I thought it was gonna be. But it's definitely there. It pulls. It pulls well. Man. Wow. One thing I want to try, these tires, they definitely hook up better. The 18 Demon was kind of dancing a little bit with the back end. This thing just hooked up and went. Incredible. And I do apologize, guys, if I'm a bit sweaty and such. It is really hot here in Florida today, so I'm trying my best to keep it all together. Got the AC going as low as possible so it doesn't interrupt the audio too much. Let's see if it hooks up in second, like the wow. Okay. Wow. That right, man. Okay, I see the difference now. I see. So the 18 Demon, when it did that, it did kind of squat a little bit, but those tires weren't really hooking all that well. But this one, that second gear pull, it dances a tiny bit, but barely anything, and it squats even more, and it just goes. Wow, I'm impressed. I am very impressed. Amazing car. Purpose-built drag car, but also you can have some fun with it, you know, on the Mexican highways and such. Responsibly, of course. Man, oh man. Incredible car. Something I do want to talk about that I didn't mention earlier. So this car, so the 18 Demon, it's titled as a Dodge Demon, obviously. But this car right here, the 23 Demon 170, it's actually titled as a Hellcat Red Eye, and then it has a Demon package on it. So I'm not sure if Dodge did that to get around maybe like crash testing, or possibly, I don't know, crash testing. There was also that issue where they said they were never gonna make a Demon ever again. So maybe they did that so they wouldn't get potentially sued, because technically they didn't make another Demon. They made a Red Eye with a Demon package, technically. So I don't know. But that concludes our drive in the Demon 170. All right, so that concludes our day with the 18 Demon and the Demon 170. Absolutely phenomenal cars. I mean, it is a shame that this era is ending, but I think Dodge definitely sent it out with a bang with the Demon 170. Just an incredible car. The way it sounds, the way it drives, and all the little Easter eggs and features. And honestly, I guess with the lack of Easter eggs on this one, and the fact that this one looks better, at least to me, with the full wide body. But then on this one, you have the nicer interior and the better powertrain with the engine and all that. So it's kind of like, I wish I could add the wide body to this one and it'd be kind of the perfect car. But man, still absolutely amazing. And honestly, if I was George, I would own them both as well. They're definitely worth having together. They both have their positives and negatives. Just fantastic. So anyways, guys, that will do it for today's video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.